What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Dark Outpost, and even though it is virtually impossible to find a physical copy of Ghost of Tsushima, because this game is sold out nearly everywhere in the world, there are still people out there that are trying to say, well, it didn't do as well as The Last of Us 2. The Last of Us 2 had 4 million copies. Suck it, haters. Or, well, it didn't have quite as much of a drop-off, but it still had a big drop-off that second week. These people, they are so pathetic because they don't understand that if there are no games on the shelves, then what are you really supposed to do? You can't sell games that aren't there. So I went on a journey today. I went on a journey to find a physical copy of The Last of Us Part 2. I was inspired by some of these people. I want to show you what I'm talking about. So this is the tweet that inspired me to make this video because there are some people out there on Twitter who just have nothing else to do with their lives other than spurg out in replies all the time with literally no interaction. So you have this right here. Like I said, no interaction, not a single like on this tweet. Hey, remember Ghost of Tsushima? It dropped 76% its second weekend. It bombed just like The Last of Us 2, right? So that is the tweet. Now, of course, I have a reply to that. I made a video all about this. I said, literally can't find physical copies because it's sold out everywhere. Still had less of a drop than The Last of Us 2. I've already done a few vids. I think I'll do another one showing the stacks of unsold Last of Us 2 games while Ghost of Tsushima shelves are empty just for your bitch ass. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I want to show you some examples from people who have tagged me or sent me things. Then I want to show you my journey because I figure I might as well do it. I recorded it. I will play those videos. And then I want to talk a little bit about the digital sales and what it could mean, some numbers from The Last of Us 2, some really good numbers from The Last of Us 2, and why the digital numbers might be the way that they are. So let's take a look. First, we have Stig. Ghost is sold out up here. Stig is from Norway. I'm seeing plenty Last of Us 2s, though, 30% off. Lyndon Hall from Australia says over here in Australia, too. Of course, JB Hi-Fi, one of the big stores over there, awaiting stock. Sold out of Ghost of Tsushima. Of course, I've talked a lot about the PlayStation Twitter for Japan apologizing that they have no copies of The Last of Us 2. They're trying to get them shipped as fast as possible. Let's take a look at some other ones right here. Look at all these Last of Us 2 stacks on stacks on stacks of Last of Us 2. There's got to be at least 30 or 40 not 30 or 40, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess at least 30. These are at least 5 in a row. You got 6 stacks, so at least 30 copies there. I said, any copies of Ghost? Nope. No copies of Ghost of Tsushima to be found. What about this one? Kick Smart. 2 empty racks for Ghost of Tsushima, and look right below it. I wonder why. No copies of Ghost to be found. Plenty of The Last of Us 2. What do we have here? No Ghost of Tsushima. Plenty of The Last of Us 2. And here's the point I'm getting at. You have this 4 million copies shipped. That was the record that we had for Ghost of Tsushima. 4 million copies shipped. That's shipped to the stores. That doesn't mean that those sell after they get to the stores. Now, we know damn sure that virtually every copy of that 2.8 million that Ghost of Tsushima shipped its first weekend have sold because you can't find the physical copies anywhere. We do not know that about The Last of Us 2. And as you can see, and I will show you with my videos here. Look, here you go. Facts don't care about what Push Square writes. Look at all these Last of Us 2 copies. Look at Ghost. And I'm also, at the end of this video, guys, I'm going to share with you something I got from a Best Buy employee. Specific numbers. Of course, it's just for one Best Buy. These are all anecdotal, right? These are all anecdotal, but we're putting it all together and looking at it as a whole. I'm going to share you something from a Best Buy employee that I think will be really interesting for a lot of people. We have here a couple shots sent to me by Metalong. Again, these are like 10 deep of The Last of Us Part 2. And of course, Ghost of Tsushima, the racks are completely empty. This is everywhere, including on my journey. So let's take a second. I'm in the San Diego area. I went out today to the 3 major retailers around my house to see what I could find. Here it is. All right, we are at our local Walmart. Let's see, I really want a copy of Ghost of Tsushima, but oh man. Ghost of Tsushima Not available anywhere. What a shame. I wonder, oh yeah. There's plenty of copies of The Last of Us 2. It goes all the way back. 2 rows completely full. And even down on the bottom, there's a couple. I wonder if those have been returned. Let's try somewhere else. All right, I am in my local Best Buy now. Maybe we'll have better luck. Wait, what are these? What is this? Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima, nowhere to be found. That's strange. Well, maybe I can find some over here. No Ghost of Tsushima anywhere. I do see some. Wait, what is this? What is this? Last of Us 2. Plenty of copies of The Last of Us 2 here. How strange. Who would have thought? Maybe we'll look somewhere else. And finally, we are here at Target. I really want Ghost of Tsushima. Not available. Man, this is the last place I was gonna check, and oh wow, we got several copies of The Last of Us 2. What do you know? What a surprise. So in a shocking turn of events, I failed in my quest to find a physical copy of Ghost of Tsushima, but that is a good thing because it means it is selling like hotcakes. People love this game. Unlike The Last of Us 2, which is sitting and rotting on store shelves. Now, when I mentioned I wanted to talk about digital sales, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. I thought this was really interesting. This is from Daniel Ahmed. EA said, now this is talking about digital sales as a whole before we look at The Last of Us Part 2. EA said that 52% of its console full game unit sales in the past 12 months were via digital download. For reference, Take-Two says its ratio was 55% for fiscal year 2020. Sony said that Sony's important here, that 51% of all games sold on PS4 in 2020 were digital. In other words, we enter next gen with digital greater than 50%. So that is pretty astonishing, to be honest, that you're looking at half of game sales are digital for consoles. Now, a lot of those are probably things they have special on the store, little discounted things, smaller games, not necessarily new releases. But when you look at the new releases, they are selling pretty well digitally as well. When you look at The Last of Us 2, Last of Us 2 did set a record, not only for that 4 million copies shipped, but also for that 2.8 million in digital sales. That is what it's reported, 2.8 million. But when I look at these numbers, and I look at 50%, approaching 50% of games sold via digital download, when I look at that 2.8 million, I start to wonder if that may be something important. If maybe that is closer to the actual number of physical copies sold, and we have maybe 1 million copies of The Last of Us 2 out there, sitting there, rotting on shelves. And that is why we see all these, because they drastically overestimated the demand for that. That's just a hunch on my part. I have no idea. I really want to see the numbers for Ghost of Tsushima. If those numbers are somewhat equal, well, that would be a big deal to me. That would really show me that there's something to my theory, that in this lockdown, these digital sales are really coming on strong. And maybe that's why there's so many of The Last of Us 2s sitting out there on the shelves. But I wanted, before we close, to talk about that Best Buy story that I had for you guys, because I do think it's important. Now, I do not have permission to release these pictures. I do not have permission to release the video, so I will not do so. But there is video, there are pictures. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys because it might reveal where this employee is at. He doesn't want to necessarily be associated with it. So take it with a grain of salt, since I can't show you that. But this is what I have. Working at a Best Buy, they got 175 copies of The Last of Us 2 just before release, because he is able to check receiving information. When he returned to work the first week of July, so after the first couple weeks of release, they had 111 copies of The Last of Us 2. So they only sold, around 65 copies. That's effectively what they sold. 64 copies to be exact during June. And then all the way through July, they only sold 5 copies. They still have 106 copies of The Last of Us 2 sitting there, waiting to be sold, with no one looking to buy. So that's just one story from one Best Buy. But if it's anything like the rest, it might explain a lot why we see completely full shelves. And he also goes to mention that Ghost of Tsushima sells out the day we get copies in. Online orders snatch them up so fast we can't get them to the shelf. Now, I do want to follow up. I do want to ask him how many copies of Ghost they ordered to kind of see what they were thinking demand would be. So might have a follow-up for you on this story. But very interesting. I think it's pretty telling, especially my journey. And I showed you guys exactly what it looks like out there on the hunt to find a physical copy of Ghost of Tsushima. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.